right now, we will talk more about those really big price rises that we are focusing on. The rise in the cost of living, which is now increasing at its fastest rate for 30 years. Let's discuss what this all means and what might happen now. George Dibb joins me, head of the Centre for Economic Justice at the IPPR, the Institute for Public Policy Research. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
I mean, some of these figures are so worrying for families, for individuals. Is the fundamental worry for you here energy bills? What's your focus?
Yeah, that's right, Jane. I think what we're seeing across the figures that have come out this morning are really concerning numbers about inflation. Going up to 5.4%, that means we haven't seen a cost of living increase at this rate since 1992. And whilst many of your viewers might not understand how that connects to their lives, inflation measures a whole different range of goods, everything from the things you buy in the supermarket to your bills. And the 5.4% number is an average of those things. But what's really driving those price rises across the biggest increases are in household energy. So gas and electricity are going up, as is petrol. And the figures out this morning show that food and clothes are also going up in price as well. Those are all things that everybody buys, which means that those on the lowest incomes are going to see the biggest squeeze on their incomes.
Yes. So from a policy perspective, what are given the vital areas you've talked about there, what are things that any government could do, or in your opinion should be doing, given the nature of what you've described?
I think the first thing on Rishi Sunak on the Chancellor's list of policy responses really has to be supporting those families who are going to be hit hardest by this. If we look back to what the Chancellor did last year by taking £20 per week from universal credit, that now looks to be a serious misjudgment, because those same people who saw that cut to their weekly universal credit are going to be the exact people who are worst hit by this increase in inflation. There are other more targeted schemes too, things like the winter fuel payment, which we recommended broadening the eligibility so it helps more people and increasing the amount of money in that pot. But at the moment, I think policymakers might be looking to the Bank of England for interest rate rises. But at the moment, because of the nature of the inflation that we're seeing, which is largely on goods which are imported from outside the UK, now might not be the time for that policy option. And we really should be looking at support schemes to support those worst off families.
Right, so looking at support schemes. So when people talk about the energy price cap, for example, things like that, are those sort of techniques, welcome though they might be to a degree, is that sort of thing really tinkering around the edges, really, because of the sheer scale and the areas of the economy that are affected, as you've described?
That's right, and making sure that money gets out of the door of the people that really need it as soon as possible. There's a big debate in the economics community about whether this inflation rise is going to be a permanent fixture or whether it's something which is so-called transitory, i.e. it's just an effect of coming out of the pandemic. But one thing that we can see coming down the line is the biggest hit is going to be in April. So as I already said, most of the price increases are coming in gas and electricity. A lot of people will have seen their bills rise, but they've risen up to that price cap, which means they're not going any higher. But the price cap is going to change in April, and estimates show that it might go up by as much as 40 or 50%. At the same time, the Chancellor's new national insurance contribution rise will be coming in, which is going to squeeze those pay packets even further. So whilst the options for helping families at the moment are quite limited, we really need to be looking forward to that April date to make sure that the Chancellor gets in place the policies to prevent this turning from a crisis into a catastrophe.
All right. Well, we will speak before then, I'm sure. But thank you for now, George Dibb from the IPPR, the Institute for Public Policy Research.